How we doing today, guys? It is Do What over here. Gonna be getting into a deep dive guide on the hero equipment. So, before we get too far into this, I wanted to touch on the divination really quick because there's something that I noticed in here. So you have these buffs down here. Specifically with the research one, it gives you a 4.5% increase to your research. I have tried this every which way that I can think of to get it to work. I've used it before starting a research. Um, I've tried it single. I've tried stacking. I see no time reduction to the research timer when I use it before. After starting the research, I use a single and then multiple times. I saw once again I see no reduction to my time. I've restarted the game, maybe thinking that it's a lag. I'm going to be sending a ticket in on this because I think that that plugin to activate this buff is not currently working. But all right, without any further ado, let's go ahead and start getting into this. The first things first, I want to just do a quick retouch on getting the materials that you need for crafting. So first things first, you can get them from your monsters, your daily quests. Make sure you're going through this, guys. You get a couple refreshes. So you're going to want to target the better monsters just so that one, the good XP for your hero, but you also get rarer equipment. So if you're getting blue or green equipment, you can actually break that down for a lot of pieces to get yourself started on the gear that you need. The higher level monsters also are going to level up this guy up here, which as you can see, it's giving you a lot of good chests to help kickstart your gear crafting without spending any money. Gathering resources also has a random chance of getting you the equipment crafting components that you need. Some events will have chests as reward as crafting pieces. Obviously, you know, you can buy the packs to get the pieces, but you can also go in here into your honey tavern. So your prosperity merchant, you can scroll down. He's going to have some chests for you, and the higher your prosperity is, the more chests he's going to have. I don't think the clan merchant has any. I didn't have it written down in my notes. And then see, I think the wandering merchant is here. So sometimes the wandering merchant, he's going to have equipment like this. So you see how this is 70% off. This is honestly really what you want to be saving your gems for. Things like this right here, because I mean, I can break that down into so much stuff. These smaller ones, even though they're 60% off, I'm not super concerned about those right now. If I specifically needed that piece of equipment, crafting material, I would go ahead and grab it. So those are some of the easy ways that you can get the components to start crafting your equipment. So I had written down that basic equipment. I noticed nothing spectacular about it until somebody on the Discord channel pointed out to me that it is the only it is the only gear that has the gathering boosts. Let's see if we can find something on here. So yeah, right there, resource gathering. So yeah, this basic equipment is the only thing that has resource gathering. So when I get to that part, because I'm breaking this up for archers, pikemans, porters, infantry, and then gathering. When I get to the gathering portion, I will be showcasing which of these is going to be good for you to build your gathering troop equipment. So what I sat here and did, and so far I've gotten Archer and Pikeman done, is I went through here, I literally wrote everything down that worked for the archer, and it took me about an hour on the archers, and it took me about an hour on the pikemen. Going through this and actually showing the progression of the levels to study them. For the most part, as long as you're comparing a level 45 piece of equipment with another level 45 piece of equipment, you're going to see the same progressions of things. So when you have your attack, your infantry attack right there on that one. But if I end up finding an attack, where is it? So right down here, infantry attack, it's level 35 on this strength legging. So it's not as high of a buff. So pay attention to that when you're looking specifically for the targeted buffs you're looking for. So getting into the archers, we are going to see that for the PvP aspect, we're going to be looking at the Bow of Greed that's under our werewolf. As you can see, there's some phenomenal buffs there. So not just the archer attack, but decent enough buff to the archer defense. So that's going to help your guys stay alive, mitigate damage incoming, and also, you know, put out a powerhouse of damage. The next one comes from our crow. That's going to be our feathered crown. Another really high archer attack increase, and a okay archer health, and that march speed increase. So you can get where you need to go faster. And then we go into the magma plate, which is under our hound. So magma plate, once again, a super high archer attack. The porter health, it's there. It's the best one that I could find out of all of the chest pieces. And then the Ripper's Greaves is for our feet. Once again, a decent archer attack increase. Now, what has me a little confused is you see both of these are level 40, but the archer attack is a 975 and the archer attack up here is 13. And I think it's because the pikeman is first, so it's taking priority as, you know, for the level, getting the higher buff out of there. But still really good with the archer. You got the march speed increase in there once again. And that is my recommended PvP setup for archers. Now, as things change, and if you start to break down all of these skills, you're going to notice there's quite a few things that don't really make too much sense. With the exception of having really high damage output with some of this archer gear, Pikeman seems to be more balanced so far of the two. We'll get into that. I also did a breakdown of what the stats would be, and I'm not going to go deep diving into that math right now, but let's just say, for example, on the pikeman, when I did it, it ended up correlating to about almost 10 million additional damage on a rally using exclusively rally equipment, less than 10,000 damage boost, or 10 million damage boost on a 1.3 million troop march. Just under a 10 million boost to the HP, and just under a 10 million boost to the defense. But if you use the PvP and just launch that with a rally, as long as the rally leader's buffs go to apply to everybody else's troops, giving us, you know, using, just so I keep everything easy and uniform, I populated the stats off of T5 troops. It was an over 80 million additional damage. Literally blew the rally gear out of the water. So unless there's something that I am missing on this, I'm still gonna put out the recommended rally setup in case there's something I'm missing. All of this gear increases your rally size. So we're gonna go into, back to our crow. We have the cursed arrow, and then going down to our snaky boy, we have the twin circlet, and then down to our bear, we have the furry armor, the fury armor. And then to our werewolf, we have our spiked boots. And then Archer PVE. Once again, this is falling into the same line with the rally leader. When it comes to the PVE, I'm still like the math isn't quite adding up to where putting on PVE will give you more of a damage buff versus just going straight attack. And I had two pieces to compare set aside so that I can show you. Let's see. So lethal, spear, and I think it was the bow of greed. So spider and werewolf. Spider is down here. So lethal spear, we have PVE damage and archer attack increase. That's going to give you a 9.75% attack increase for your archers. And then, let's see, the bow of greed is on the werewolf. Whereas the bow of greed on the werewolf gives you a 13.25% archer attack increase. So on the surface, it looks like the bow of greed is going to do more damage to the PvE than a PvE specific gear. I definitely still need to make this equipment. I need to get some uniform marches of some low level T1 monsters or troops just so that I can throw them at the wall and see what comes out of it. That's going to come in time. I just wanted to get these out here for you guys so that you can start getting your gear worked on without wondering if you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Lethal spear, like I said, the spider. So lethal spear for PvE on the archers, brutal headgear under the werewolf, the encircling girdle under the snake for your chest piece, and then the gluttonous greaves comes out of the boar. Like I said, these are strictly armor pieces that increase PvE damage. I'm hoping that I can figure out why some of this just on the surface isn't making sense. It's going to come with a lot of testing. Maybe they put these numbers on here arbitrarily, didn't actually pay attention to how they stacked up, and they're going to put out some updates later to kind of balance some of this stuff a little bit better. But we'll see. I know when you play games like this, they get the game out and they grow the game with a lot of updates to make things make a little more sense. Some of the things end up being a little more complicated, but balance out versus what you get when you understand it. And then they increase the levels of what you can raise your keep to and the higher tier troops and more research that makes things more intricate. Moving on to the Pikeman's gear. Once again, I wrote everything down. I wrote the progression of the boost that you get and what monster you get them from. So with PvP, we actually had two contenders on your weapon for PvP. We had the tusked hammer that comes from the boar, and then we also had the serpent sword, and I'm going to show you why I chose the tusked hammer. So the serpent sword right here, 13.25% of the pikeman, but then you have porter attack, porter defense, and squad load. I don't know about you guys, but when I do build on my march, I mainly right now, especially in the early game, I'm pushing one troop type because I'm getting insane buffs off of that, and then a little bit of the other troops just because there's an attack order that goes on that I'm going to be breaking down in a future video. But so having the porter attacks on there is good if that was my only high tier option for pikemen. But going down here to the boar, my pikeman attack increase over here at the top right is 13.25. My infantry attack is 3, but then I also have a 7.75% increase to my pikeman defense. That's going to keep the bulk of my marching army in the fight for a heck of a long time. That's a lot of additional damage mitigation to my march. And then my squad load 8.25. Squad load, it from my understanding, that one is just how much your troops can carry. So it's good for looting enemies. If you're just going to bed and you send these guys out on a march to just collect some resources because all your marches are going out. So the Tusk Hammer for me is really just the way to go. It's probably one of the most solid equipments in the game as far as like the stats and how well they work together. I would not be surprised if I saw this get nerfed to balance out with everything else later on down the road. So moving on, we have for our headpiece, the Savage headgear comes from the bear. We once again a really good Pikeman's defense increase of 10%, and then the Pikeman's health of the 1.5%. So once again, that's a lot. That's a really, really high damage mitigation. I haven't seen a damage mitigation that high on any of the other troops thus far. And then going on to our chest piece, we have the Sunset Cape from the Crow. Sunset Cape, right over here, a 9.75% pikeman attack increase. The inventory isn't too important. The PvE damage increase isn't too important on this. We're only going for that one. And then the Ripper Greaves coming from the Hound. I already showed you this on the Archer, 13.25%. And just looking at the comparative buffs that I'm getting off of this Pikeman gear versus the Archer gear, right now I think Pikeman is like super brutal. The stats that they have over here for the Pikeman gear is a lot better. They seem to be pretty versatile. I'm using them for PvP. I haven't been attacked yet, so I don't know how well they do as defense, but just being as their pikemen, I feel like they'd offer a really good defense aspect in defending your city. So the pikemen definitely seem like a really strong contender for being a super broken PvP army. As I said before, with the archers, the rally and PvE, that me putting out the equipment that exclusively has the stats that pertain to that. Me personally, I still think the PvP gear is going to be better in both instances and give you better buffs. But I'm putting it out there just in case there's something either A, I'm misunderstanding, and if I am, please let me know down in the comments below, because I want to get you guys accurate information. Whatever you guys put down there, I'm going to investigate it, I'm going to check it out, test it, and then get back to you with what I have found. So with the rally, lethal spear comes from the spider. Pikeman attack increase, but then the PvE damage. Oh no, the increased run rally. The increased capacity of rally troops. The headpiece is going to be our Howler crown coming from the Hound. The increased capacity for rally, and then Pikeman HP. The chest piece is going to be the Fury armor from the Bear. Once again, increased rally, and then Pikeman defense. And then the appendage chassis from the Spider. For boots, once again, rally dice. So what you're getting out of this is you're getting only a 3% increase to your rally size with this setup. And that's where I'm doing the math and seeing how much like having that additional troop, what your damage increase is going to be, your HP and your defense, and versus having higher attack and defense and maybe HP stats on those troops, what that's going to do to offset the battle. And yeah, you'll have more troops, but your the higher stats seem to be the way to go. Maybe having the more troops just help your troops stay in the battle longer and lets them do more damage over time. But I mean, if your damage output is absolutely massive, I honestly, I think it's gonna overwhelm what other people are putting up. So now we're moving on into the PvE. Taking a trip right up here to our spider, back to lethal spear again. I pointed it out before, the PvE damage. Your savage headgear from the bear. PvE increase 4.5. Once again, you got that 10% pikeman defense. Your sunset cape coming from the crow is going to be your chest piece, PvE damage, and then a decent pikeman attack increase. And then finally, we're going to be going back down to our bear for these strength leggings, PvE damage, and a decent pikeman defense increase. So those are the setups that I have found in here that correlate around those three areas for archers and pikemans. I'm going to be doing breakdowns of the infantry and porters in the next video. Then I'm going to be going over gathering and doing a breakdown as to what I perceive to be the mechanics of combat as far as turn orders, what troops attack first, what troops defend, comparing movement speeds of troops to see which ones get into the fight first, because that's going to be important to determine which troops are going to get wounded first, and maybe you want to bolster their defense to keep them in the fight longer, while your other troops in the back have maybe less defense but more attack, so they can sit there and deal a lot of damage from behind and just plow through rounds, just putting out DPS. So that's what we're going to be getting into here in the next couple of days as I get the rest of the stuff put together. If you guys like what you see, if you guys want more content like this, you know, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you want to see this stuff as soon as it drops, definitely hit that bell so you know as soon as I'm putting out new content. One more thing, if you guys want to, you can go down into the description below, click on that link and come over and join us in the Discord chat room. You can come on and give One Click a shout out because he is the one that let me know that the basic gear, the basic equipment has the over here. Basic equipment has that resource gathering buff potential on there. I was literally talking to him and I was like, I'm just straight writing off the basic equipment, and he's like, well, wait, there's more. So go over there, give him a high five, and I'll see you guys next time.